Glasses or not?
If you're used to wearing them, yes. Our interview today is with Mrs. Sarah Goodman Johnson. Today is May the 5th, 2006, and we are at her home. And Miss Goodman, Miss Johnson, my mother called you Sarah Goodman all her life, and so that's my mistake. I'm sorry. Miss Johnson, we know that you grew up in Mooresville, and your father had a grocery store in downtown Mooresville. So we'd like for you to tell us your recollections from growing up in Mooresville as a child, and particularly about your father's store.
Well, the first day of school here at Mooresville was the Old South School, and I think my sisters were supposed to be with me, but they ran off and left me when school was out, and I had to find my way home by myself.
And where were you living?
We lived over on where the community college is now. The house is torn down that we live in. Across from the Methodist Church.
That's Academy Street.
Academy Street, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I finished school in Mooresville in 33, high school.
What about your father's store downtown, his grocery store? Tell us about it.
It belonged to Mr. J.F. McGraw. You probably know Mr. McGraw, didn't you, or not?
No.
Or maybe not. Just a little small grocery store above the depot. And as I said, Daddy started working for Mr. McGraw, and when Mr. McGraw passed away, Daddy took over the store. And they just had regular canned goods and no produce or anything like that. And the business was good until these supermarkets came in, and they sort of rooted that little store out.
Mm-hmm. And your father's father was a tax collector?
Yes, he worked for the town of Mooresville.
And where was his office? Do you remember?
It's up over where the old fire station used to be. And then at one time, I think it was they moved downtown. Mr. A.W. Colson was in that office too. I remember Grandpa Goodman was there, but I can't remember just exactly what is there now, what was there then. But the most of the time, it was over the old fire station. I know I helped take tax returns one year.
That was on Broad Street?
Yeah, Broad Street.
And what was your grandfather's name?
Joseph Augusta Borden Goodman. J.A.B. Goodman.
Okay. What were some of the other stores that you recall that were in downtown Mooresville when you were a child?
Well, I worked at Belts, the old Belts, until they moved on the other side of the street. That's the only place I've ever worked.
And what were some other stores, the other landmarks that you remember from downtown?
The old Belts was there where seems like there's near the corner, but it wasn't right on the corner. And I know there used to be a clothing store where Miller Drug was in that area. Oh, I've forgotten the people's name that ran that store. And Belts. And there was you remember Mary Frances Johnson, and her husband ran a little sandwich shop in one of those little buildings up there on Main Street. I've forgotten what the name of it was, but that was a good place to get a sandwich or a hot dog or something like that. And I can't remember too much about the other. Everything's changed now, isn't it? It's like it used to.
Was there? You mentioned Miller Drug.
Miller Drug.
And that was in the middle of the block between Center Street and Moore Avenue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then wasn't there a Goodman Drug on the corner?
On the corner, yeah. George Templeton ran that. And he's deceased now, I'm sure. But they weren't relatives of ours.
Okay. And what about, was the hotel there then?
The hotel was there then.
What could you tell us about the hotel?
Oh, it's just an old place. And the Johnsons, Johnstown, Mary Frances Johnson, she married Archer. Now he was the one that ran a little sandwich shop there on Main Street. And there was another girl, I've forgotten her name. And of course, the McKnights, Ruth McKnight, and they lived up on Statesville Avenue. That has nothing to do with the main town. And of course, the Bank of America, all those banks have sprung up since the old days. In fact, there used to be dwelling houses there where the post office used to be, and on up the street there was just dwelling houses, weren't businesses at all.
And what about movie theaters? Were there movie theaters?
There was one movie, well, they were, at one time there were two. One was down in the next block. What is along there now? Then there was one in the upper end of town and one down in the next block. At one time we had two theaters here, movie theaters. And of course W.N. Johnson's Hardware across the street there on Main Street.
And then do you remember the ice plant down on Broad?
On Broad Street, yes, I sure do.
Did you all get ice from them?
We did at one time until we got a refrigerator. They used to bring it around, you know, in houses in town. And you tell them, I don't know how you determined how much you were going to get, but they would bring it in and put it in your refrigerator for you. And of course, if you had to have it for a special occasion to grind it up, you go down there and get it.
They would actually grind the ice up for you to make crushed ice?
Yes, as well as I remember.
Okay. And what about milk? What about the milk delivery? Who was some of the, do you remember the...
Edmonston, R.S. Edmonston. We took milk from him for a long time. I don't know how many of that family are living now. I haven't heard anything about them in quite a while.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to share with us about growing up in Mooresville?
Well, of course, the South School, it was South School when I was here, you know, when I was growing up here. And it's moved out in a different direction, I understand.
What were some of the things that you enjoyed doing when you were a young child in Mooresville? What were some of the activities you were, games or people you visited?
Well, there were groups of, there was about 5 of us, Mary Margaret and Bernice Brantley, Cora Earnhardt, and we would get together. We called it the Old Maids Club, I believe, or something like that. We'd just get together and talk and maybe have refreshments. Nothing very important, just being together. Going to the movie, the Willie didn't have much activity at all.
How old were you when you had this club with these other
We
women?
were in high school.
In high school.
And you know, I think I'm about the only one living from that group. Cora Earnhardt's dead, and Mary Margaret, and Bernice Brantley, and I don't know.
You probably are.
Yeah.
When you all got together, did you meet at somebody's house? Did you?
Yeah, we met at the homes. Or we'd go to Miller Drug and spend a dime or so for a Coke or
Go down for a
something
soda.
like that. That was a treat to go to the drugstore for us.
When you went to the movies, what was the price to get in at that time? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember, but it couldn't have been too much, a quarter or something like that. Saturday afternoon, I think, was cheaper, but I never did go on Saturday. I think they had Western movies on Saturday.
So what days did you go when you went?
I don't remember, just it depended on what was playing, the picture was on.
Mm-hmm.
What were some things that you remember coming into Mooresville? For instance, were there any fairs or people that came in and entertained or any of that kind of?
Carnivals?
Well, we all had birthday parties. That was a big deal for us. and then through church activities, we had things like that.
When you had a birthday party, what kinds of things did you do? What kinds of games did you play?
We would play Lotto. Is that the name? In their game named Lotto, where you throw dice or something, and they had letters on them, and just sit around talking and nothing special. Of course, pin the tail on the donkey, That's
Did you have birthday cake or ice cream
yeah.
or?
Birthday cake and ice cream.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what to drink?
Well, probably water then. We didn't have canned drinks or anything
Okay.
like that. Or punch, lemonade, I guess
Lemonade?
was a big deal then.
Iced tea at all?
I don't remember drinking
Yeah.
iced tea as a younger person. I guess those that wanted it to. We had iced tea at our home,
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess we really just drank the water.
How did you meet your husband?
How did I meet my husband? Well, they moved here from Tennessee, and it was down at Miller Drug. We would go down there and sit and talk, and he and a bunch of other guys would sometimes be there, and we just started talking, getting acquainted, and finally kept going.
He moved. His family moved here from Tennessee. Did it take him a long time to become accustomed to the community, or to be accepted by the community, or were they accepted right away?
I think they were accepted right away, to my knowledge. He worked, I believe, he worked up at the Cascade Mill for a while when he first came here. And then,
What did he do at Cascade? Do you remember?
no, I sure don't. He went to Cleveland, Ohio, and took the course in welding, and then he got into that type of work in Baltimore, when we were in Baltimore.
How long were you in Baltimore?
We were in Baltimore about 3 years during the war. I liked Baltimore all right. I didn't get, to go out, very much because then, you didn't go alone anywhere. And he worked at night and, of course, slept in the daytime. But I enjoyed being in Baltimore and seeing the things I saw in Baltimore. And I know we'd go down to Little River and get crab cakes. They were so good.
What made you leave Baltimore?
Beg your pardon?
What made you leave Baltimore?
Well, that type of work began to go down,
Okay.
at Glen L. Martin plant. And so that's the main reason.
And you came back here then?
Came back to Mooresville for a while, and then we moved to Salisbury. And he worked for the state in Salisbury.
When you,
Highway Patrol.
oh, you worked for the Highway Patrol? Okay. When you first came back to Mooresville, did he have a job then, when you first came back?
No, he didn't have a job or anything. Well, he took an idea. He wanted to drive a big old truck, but that didn't go through. He said that wasn't for him.
So he tried it for a little while?
No,
No, not at all. Okay.
he would have had to buy a truck or rent it or
Okay.
do something like that. So he decided not to do that, and I'm glad. But we
So
went
was then he
on-
decided to go to Salisbury?
Yeah,
Okay.
and got with the highway patrol down on the, I don't know what highway that was, where the patrol station is in Salisbury, I mean, the highway. But he liked that very much.
And how long were you there?
We were there for about 8 or 10 years, and then he passed away, and I came back to Mooresville.
If we can go back to your earlier recollections for just a minute. On 4th of July, did they have a big parade downtown?
yes,
Were you
we had
involved
it.
in it? Did you
And
walk
they-
in it, or?
They had a big parade, and then they always had a big celebration out at Faith, North Carolina. Y'all know where that
We've
is.
been there.
And I think they still have that now.
They have a picnic in Mooresville, or you just went to?
We
Faith?
used to have a picnic on July July the 4th. And what's up there? There's a house there where there used to be a swimming pool there. That's where we had our picnics. And you don't remember anything about that, do you?
That was Stewart Park, right?
Stewart Park.
That was before my time.
Yeah.
They have
But
fireworks?
It was, yeah, they had fireworks, but that was about the main regular entertainment they had in Mooresville.
Did you have to listen to speeches?
I don't remember that. If they did, I didn't remember. I didn't listen.
Yeah.
Tuned
We
it out.
ate though. We had lots to eat.
So that was a good time to meet your neighbors and
Yeah.
friends, was to have a picnic there. Did you swim at the pool? You mentioned the swimming
Yes.
pool.
That's about the only place we had to swim. It's that brown swimming pool, which is out a ways. And
Did you attend any of the baseball games?
I don't remember attending any baseball games. Younger, I know after they became teams and everything, I mean, I was older, I used to go to a ball game every once in a while, but as a child, I don't remember going to a ball game. That was a big sport, though. I mean, a lot of people attended, and the old place is still there. They remodeled that.
at the Moore Park,
Yeah.
down across from Mooresville Mill.
Yes, they fixed it up real nice. I think they still have games there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the first cars that they brought into Mooresville?
The
They
first,
Do you remember the cars that they started bringing into Mooresville? The first car you had, or
we had a
your father?
Ford, open Ford, and I know it had a luggage carrier on the side. And Daddy took us all to the mountains one time, and we had to take some kind of straw tick or something for Mother to sleep on, because she didn't want to sleep on the ground. That was when Grandfather Mountain was burning at that time. Yeah, he packed us all in that old Ford and trucked around the mountains.
You mean Grandfather Mountain? The mountains was actually on fire.
Yeah,
Mm.
Do you remember when that was? Do you remember about when that was?
yeah. Well, I remember hearing them talk about it and everything. I never did see it.
I mean, but how old were you? About what year, or how do you remember?
Well, I was in the lower grades.
Oh, okay. So probably in the 20s then.
Oh, younger than that.
Younger than that?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was probably in the 1920s. Just we're saying.
Oh,
or-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the
Year.
1920s that this happened, because that's the first time we've heard that story about the Grandfather Mountain burning.
Yeah.
So you went up there and saw it burning?
No, well, we could see vaguely the smoke and everything. We
Okay.
weren't really that close to it, but it was at that time,
Okay.
as well as I remember.
So you went up there for several days or just an overnight?
Oh, yeah, we took our food. Daddy had a little thing to cook on, and we took what food. It must have not been for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
You took the straw tick for Mother to sleep on.
Yeah.
Did you do this often, or was that just one
No,
time?
that's just that one time.
Okay.
I remember now, I don't know, I think Mother and Daddy used to go to the mountains for a weekend or something like that, but
Mhm.
we were older, they didn't take us then.
Anything else you'd like, you can remember that you want to share with us?
Well, right offhand,
Okay, well, we really appreciate this. You've given us some really good stories about Mooresville and growing up in Mooresville, and we thank you so much for letting us come and interview you.
well, you're welcome, but I didn't know it was gonna be this detailed.